what's going on, guys? This is Team Gohan Fighter back with another video, and today I'm going to do my Dragon Ball Super Episode 3 review, which is Where Does the Dream Pick Up? Find the Super Saiyan God. Yeah. That's the episode name. So we're basically now at this point getting to the point where Battle of Gods, the movie, picked up. So they're going right along nicely, it seems. Um, you got the Kais, the Elder Kai, basically saying how feared, Beerus is, and he can't believe it, and Spring Kai is like, oh, like, is he that bad? And, they even mentioned that he, already has taken out 8 planets and whatnot. They're in this episode they're planning for Bulma's birthday, by the way. So there's the build up for that. Goku is on King Kai's planet. He's lifting these big weights, which are probably like over hundreds of tons. I didn't really mention this in the last episode, but I also didn't pick up on the fact that Goku is obviously wearing gym clothes, essentially, rather than his traditional fighting clothes, which in the movie he was wearing his fighting clothes. So there's a difference there. So he's lifting weights. Eventually, King Kai gets a message, or intrudes on the Kais that are talking that Goku can't find out because Goku would want to fight him. Because Goku's always up for a challenge. And so they kind of were like, we can't let Goku know about this. Goku can't know about this. And King Kai was in agreement. But he basically told him that he's on the planet training right now. Eventually, Goku overhears some stuff, not everything. He gets paint thrown, yellow or golden paint thrown all over it. And so then Goku's trying to help with the rag and stuff. Eventually, they get to the point, well, what were you saying about me? And he's like, oh, you didn't hear anything. You just imagined it, basically, or whatever. Vegeta, while is training at this time for this as well. Because he still wants to be number one. And, Beerus is basically trying to remember what he was saying, the Super Saiyan God. He couldn't remember it. It couldn't come to him. So he was forgetting. He was slurring his words and stuff. So eventually he asks this fish thing, which he called him the See All Dreams or something. Now this fish thing, I guess, can see things while Beerus is dreaming. And so he asks him about it. And so he can't remember, and so he does a little funny thing to Whis and says, hey, how much do we feed him? 3 times a day. And he's like, well, maybe we should have it only 2 times a day. And so he's like, no, please. And then he eventually remembers, because Beerus demands it, and he's like, oh, Super Saiyan God. So it is a Super Saiyan God. So then they basically go over what the Super Saiyan God is, because it's not an actual person. They've come to that conclusion, so now they think it's transformation and whatnot. So they kind of get into that. Also, while this is going on, King Kai eventually gets to a point where he, actually talks about the whole, that he still hasn't been wished back and stuff like that. So they talk about that, and Goku even mentions, oh, aren't you Guardian, so shouldn't you just be here anyways? And he's like, yeah, sure, but they still make fun of me and stuff like that. They also show a flashback of Cell, when Goku instant transmissioned Cell to King Kai's planet. And one of the noticeable differences with that is the translation was completely different from the original Dragon Ball Z dub. As I've already done a comparison, well, I did a music comparison, but still, it's the same dialogue. Goku said, um, he said, "Sorry, King Kai, this is the only place I could think to bring him." Uh, Something to that effect, which is not what he says in the flashback. When you do flashbacks, you need to keep consistent with the dub that happened. Or it's going to confuse the living shit out of people. Um, Especially since it seemed like they were using the Dragon Ball Z animation. I'm only really mentioning this right now due to the fact that another flashback comes up later, which is completely different. And I'm going to get to that very soon. But I wanted to bring that up because I felt that was kind of a little weird. They kind of changed that for the flashback. Um, Little scene there. Anyways, so it's kind of funny because we were talking about this last episode. Why King Kai wasn't brought back, and he basically demanded that the next time they have an opportunity to make a wish, that they can wish them all back, basically. Which again, that was a plot hole inside of Dragon Ball Z. It wasn't really a plot hole in Super. That was a plot hole in Dragon Ball Z, because when they wished back everyone that was killed by Cell, King Kai and everyone else that was on King Kai's planet technically should have all been brought back when Cell, was wiped out, because Cell was the one who killed them. Yeah, Goku caused their death, but that doesn't mean that he's the reason why they were killed. They were killed because of Cell. So yes, that technically is considered one of Cell's victims, because I know people were commenting that in the comment section last week, and that doesn't matter. He was killed by Cell. King Kai was killed by Cell, plain and simple. So I'm glad they mentioned this, and brought this up so people would know and understand this. Getting back to Beerus, he basically, they find out about, the origins, the Saiyans. We find out basically that Frieza was told by Beerus to destroy the Saiyans, planet Vegeta, which we kind of, it kind of was really interesting, hearing that. I mean, I know in the revival of F, Beerus had mentioned, or Whist had mentioned something about it too, but to actually get the explanation that, yes, Beerus told Frieza before he went to sleep, that, to wipe out planet Vegeta. So basically, yeah, that's kind of whole Beerus thing there. Um, so Whis mentions that there were some Saiyans that did survive the planet exploding. He mentions Vegeta and whatnot. So we got that whole explanation. Eventually, they get to like a scene where or Beerus asks what a Super Saiyan is, because he wants to know what a Super Saiyan God is, but Whis doesn't know what a Super Saiyan God is, but he says he knows what a Super Saiyan is. So he basically shows Beerus like a fight between Goku and Frieza, because he had mentioned that Frieza was defeated by Goku. This guy called Goku, we all know, the main man, the hope of the universe, and shit like that. So he wants to see it. So, he shows him basically, and the animation for this, reinterpretation of the Goku versus Frieza fight is completely different from the actual Dragon Ball Z flashback, which to me is really weird, since they showed the flashback from the original Dragon Ball Z animation, for when Goku sacrificed himself to save the Earth. But they don't show the same fight animation for Goku and Frieza for that flashback. To me, that makes no sense. Like, why would you waste time doing, remastering the animation of a flashback when you could just use the animation from the original Dragon Ball Z anime? To me, that just kind of makes no sense. But they show like some highlights of it, of the fight, of the reinterpretation of the fight, and Goku gets on top. Obviously, we all know the story about that, but they don't really get into all that other stuff. They were just basically showing the fights. They weren't showing them talking and stuff like that. And so then Beerus wants to go meet Goku. So they know that he's on King Kai's planet. So that's where they go basically meet them. Meets them. So then we get into a scene with finally Android 18 back on the screen for the anime. We get to see McLeod still delivering 18 very good, very well performance. I mean, it was a limited performance of what she did in this episode, but still, we got to finally hear what Android 18 sounds like. Definitely better than the Dragon Ball Z Kai 18. For sure. I'm glad she's back as 18 again. We got Krillin. They were in a car, which is kind of weird because they can just fly, but they decided to like be in a car, and there's traffic, so they're gonna be late. So then they were like, well, you know, just fly. So they put their car away in the capsule, and they just start flying to the place because they're going to this bingo thing. Well, actually, it's Bulma's birthday, but they're doing a bingo thing. One thing I was surprised about the birthday scene is they showed a lot of the signs, the Japanese symbols and stuff for the signs and stuff. I was really surprised they didn't show like what was said. You know how like in a lot of animations where they'll show. That's what they do now. Is like they actually put the words like in front of the Japanese symbol so you know what they're saying. They didn't do that, so I have no idea what they said. I'm assuming it just says happy birthday, but I mean, it could say happy birthday Bulma or I don't know. But it doesn't say any of that. And yeah, it basically doesn't say any of that stuff. So I thought that was really weird because they're not letting us know what they're saying. I mean, I'd prefer them to, kind of reword it so it would be like, so it would actually be in lettering. But I mean, if you have to put like the words in front of it, that's fine too. But once again, it's very lazy on Funimation's part. Um, well, no, that's on Funimation. That's definitely on Funimation. But yeah. Anyways, so there's her birthday, and she's all pissed that Goku and Vegeta ain't gonna show up or whatever. They eventually get to a scene where Piccolo has a funny moment with I forgot to mention also Yamcha and Tien were flying with Krillin and 18 as well, so they're finally getting some screen time as well. But anyways, they finally get to a point where everyone's there at the thing except for Goku and Vegeta because they're just training basically. Well, Goku forgets. Goku forgets about the birthday party. Vegeta just doesn't give a shit. And it's his wife. So there's a scene with Majin Buu. Majin Buu decides to eat the main course stuff. Bulma has a fit about it. And so Hercule basically has to come in there and just like, try to get Buu away. So, and tries to get him to, eat on some appetizers because Buu is like hungry already. Yeah, I know. Bulma really should stop because, like, Majin Buu can, like, turn her into candy at any time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He can turn her into candy at any time. Like, she should really stop that. Like, Majin Buu, like, man. Don't tell me he would still do it. He'd still do it. Like, I'd still see it happening. So that's happening. The Kais basically realize that, Beerus and Whis are going to where King Kai's planet is. And they're basically, going after Goku, and they basically say there's nothing we can do. If he's going there, he's going there. he'll find Goku eventually, because they suggested, should we hide him? And they're like, no, you can't hide from Beerus. And so Beerus is going there because he wants to find out what a Super Saiyan God is. And, oh yeah, Goku also realized that he forgot about Bulma's birthday party, and he's like, oh shit, like, what the hell am I doing, forgetting she's gonna have a hissy fit on me. Um, so, there's that too. Um, there was a scene with I don't know if I mentioned it, but there was a scene with Piccolo, where, Gohan showed him like the wedding picture, and Piccolo actually was in the picture, but he had his eyes closed. He actually had his eyes closed, and so and Gohan basically says, "Yeah, it was the only picture you took with us, so that was the only one we could do." uh, so that was kind of interesting. Piccolo had his eyes closed. That was kind of funny. A lot of funny scenes happened in this thing. There was also a scene with Master Roshi, where he wanted to like see the girls or whatever, and they were fighting over it. And Chi Chi was like, "Is there anything better you can do besides doing this?" And then he gets a nosebleed. The end of the episode again was Beerus, with Whis traveling, because it takes about 26 minutes to get to King Kai's planet from where they were, and he's basically, saying that he will find the Super Saiyan God, and that's basically what happened in this episode. It was a real, it basically it's this episode is kind of aligning the plot along, of what happened. There's a couple of questionable things that happened in here that necessarily are kind of different. The flashbacks were kind of weird. It was kind of weird that they showed a flashback of like the Dragon Ball Z animation from the original anime for the one episode, for the one scene, but then for a completely different flashback they show a completely different animation for it. I don't know why they would do that. It just seems kind of weird. The dialogue is different in the one flashback, for the first flashback, from the original Dragon Ball Z anime, which was based on the original Dragon Ball Z anime. So there was a little weird things going on with the flashbackings there. I'm curious if they're going to do this. Like, well, I mean, like that's what I don't get is like they used the flashback for Dragon Ball Z and then they just completely remade a flashback for the other scene. That just seems kind of weird. That they would do that. That well no that wasn't Funimation, that was Toei Anime. Toei Animation made the animation. I'm just saying I think that was kind of weird. They could have just saved money by just using the original fight from the Dragon Ball Z anime like they did for the first flashback. It seems kind of frivolous, especially from the infamous episode 5 animation that everyone tells me was so bad. Um, I know, like, I mean, like, everyone, well, no, that's in 2 episodes, but we're probably not going to get that shitty animation. I have seen the picture of it, by the way, of the infamous Goku looking like a, weird face thing. um, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, we're probably not going to get that horrible animation from episode 5 because they usually these days we get the the retouch up version from the Blu-ray version, so we're probably not going to get that horrible animation episode because they've touched it up since it was released in Japanese Blu-ray. So we're probably going to get that, but I mean, I feel like if why would you be wasting animations on a flashback? When you can just use the flashback you had from the original animation that you used from the original Dragon Ball Z. I just don't get it. You used it for the first flashback, so I don't get why you would do it there. Episode 3 kind of cleared up some of the angrily plot holes dating back all the way from Dragon Ball Z with King Kai's issue. but it doesn't explain why the planet is still alive and he wasn't wished back first. They didn't really kind of get into that. They really got into the answer of what we were talking about in the last episode review, which was about King Kai being, not wished back and everyone else not being wished back, but everyone else that was destroyed by Cell was wished back, but not him, even though he was killed by Cell. But King Kai's planet was, somehow wished back, or something like that. Someone posted me a link about it. There was an explanation for that, I believe, in the comment section last week. I haven't got a chance to look at it. He showed me some scan from some manga, from the Super manga, but it wasn't explained. It wasn't explained in the anime. Apparently, I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I will hopefully soon. Um, but those are some of the couple of notes that I noticed. That maybe someone will have the answer. I just think you could just use the regular animation rather than remake it. I mean, it's just a flashback. You don't really need to remaster a flashback, right? I mean, you just use the material from the previous anime. It makes more sense, at least. Um, so those are my only couple complaints. Um, and then of course they didn't really show us what was said on the birthday, you know, symbols or whatever. They didn't translate them on there on the sign, or not even make the effort to put like the words in front of the Japanese symbols so we would know what they were actually being said, what was actually being said. So those are the two things that should have been done. Either reword it completely with edit of word text, or actually put words in front of the Japanese symbols, which is usually what Funimation does. So I don't know why they didn't do it here. Um, so those are a couple of the only notes, like the flashbacks and that are the only couple of notes that I have noted on some of the things I didn't like Funimation doing on their end. But overall, I think the plot is going pretty neatly from the events of Battle Gods. There were some changes in here, but I think it's going around pretty nicely for the overall plot, with a couple, like I said, the changes. Like I said, I didn't mention it last week. I didn't think to mention it last week, but Goku was wearing his fighting clothes in the movie for Battle of Gods, but he isn't wearing it here on King Kai's planet. He's wearing gym clothes, basically. Um, but yeah, that's my review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 3. I hope you guys enjoy this. Also, I do have communities. Um, Dragon Ball Z English dub, as well as Dragon Ball Super English dub. So no spoilers from the Japanese version. It's as if you're watching it for the first time. Keep that in mind. And that is the same for when we are talking about the reviews on this video. We are talking about episodes that only have been dubbed, as if you're watching it for the first time, may I add. So please do not comment anything about what happens in the Japanese version or whatever, or what's happening right now, because we're watching the English version, we're reviewing the English version, and we're treating it as if you've not watched it yet. Okay? That is what my English my reviews are of Dragon Ball Super, as if you're watching it for the first time. So you just gotta just be like that, okay? If you like this video, comment, rate. Or if you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe. And that's about it. If you like my contents, I also do have a Patreon too. It's whatever. So I got all that, communities. If you want to talk Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super stuff, all good. And like I said, that's about it, guys. I am a Team Gohan Fighter, and I'm out of here. Peace.